Casual.
Hey you guys, today we are going to be unboxing the Ghost expansion pack. Now, when I went into the friendly local game store, what I was floored by was the sheer size of the box. It's bigger than any large ship box, at least in my memory. Maybe the Houndstooth kind of is the same size, but that I can remember. It's a really beautiful ship for what it is. It's definitely my new favorite ship in the game visually. The cool thing about it is that there's a lot less detail naturally because these people have to, animate the ship on a regular basis, Translating that into the X-Wing miniatures game, I don't know, it feels one-to-one. It feels like this is the actual model that they printed out and gave to me. And I get to bring it into my home now. And as a big fan of the TV show, I'm really excited about that. And the Phantom is the same thing. It feels like the nose of a Y-Wing plus a little bit of the Lambda-class shuttle. But the dial for the attack shuttle is pretty similar to a Lambda shuttle. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the cards. Coming in at 18 points, we have Zeb Aurelios. When defending, you may cancel crit results before hit results. What this actually does for Zeb is it kind of converts all of the hull into shields as well. Because if you think about it, you've got two defense dice. You're likely going to be able to roll one evade or get some sort of evade. Unless you blank out, then, you're probably going to have some kind of evade. If I were flying Zeb, I would probably take an evade token. But what this means is that your opponent has to roll plenty of crits to get one of them through. It kind of makes him like Chewbacca on the attack shuttle, which is pretty cool thematically because, as some of you may know, Zeb is from concept art for Chewbacca. Okay, moving on to Ezra Bridger. Now, Ezra reads, when defending, if you are stressed, you may change up to 2 of your focus results to evade results. And with an EPT slot, that is great news. Ezra comes in at 20 points at pilot skill 4, and this means K turns, evades. Push the limit, evade. It really changes your dice from 3 of 8 chance to save yourself to 5 of 8. And that's a pretty big deal, especially at 20 points. These passive abilities, kind of like Poe Dameron's ability, have proven themselves to be meta changing. The dial's a big deal when you're talking about Ezra because Ezra is really going to be able to move. Like, if you need to get out of a situation, you're going to be able to pull off that 3 hard. You're going to be able to pull off that K turn if you need to, and still have significant power for defense. So now we're looking at Sabine. Immediately before you reveal your maneuver, you may perform a free boost or barrel roll action. That's really cool if you're not stressed. If you're stressed, obviously that becomes a problem because you're performing the action. As far as I understand it, you're going to be able to push the limit off of that action. You can do a barrel roll, and then push the limit to boost, and then perform a green maneuver, and then you're not stressed, and you can take another action. Very similar to having BB-8 on an X-Wing with push the limit as well. All right, and now the star of the show at pilot skill 7, we are looking at Hera Syndulla. When you reveal a green or red maneuver, you may rotate your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. There are a few red and green maneuvers that are very different. This is completely different than like a Fetigator build or something like that because we're talking about going in a completely different spot. Like if I was going to perform a 4K turn and that ended up being bad news for me, I'm going to take that 3 bank. And yeah, it's red, but that's super helpful. Really, the only reason not to take Hera is because you're going to be taking her on the Ghost because that same ability on the Ghost is killer. Overall, so far, I'd say that Ezra is definitely my pick if I'm going to be reaching for an attack shuttle along with a Ghost. But if I'm just going for the attack shuttle itself, I'd probably choose Hera. Then again, Sabine is still a really great option. The attack shuttle goes from kind of a nice, cheap 3 attack dice ship to this arc dodger that can really move. And the action economy on her is pretty good too. Zeb, I don't really know. If I was trying to put all 4 of these guys on the table, maybe I'd reach for Zeb too, but I'm not about to spend $200 on 4 attack shuttle builds. So before we move on to the Ghost, I want to talk about the Phantom title. It reads, while you are docked, the Ghost can perform primary weapon attacks from its special firing arc, and at the end of the combat phase, it may perform an additional attack with an equipped turret. If it performs this attack, it cannot attack again this round. Basically, that means that when you have the Phantom docked, you're kind of turning on this auxiliary firing arc. Okay, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and talk about the Ghost title card. Equip the Phantom title card to a friendly attack shuttle and dock it to your ship. After executing a maneuver, you may deploy it from your rear guides. So pretty similar to what we've seen with the Nash to Pup and the Gazanti class cruiser. So far, for such a small little ship, very formidable, extremely useful, and dirt cheap for what it is. Like really, this thing only has one less hull than an X-Wing, and an X-Wing is coming in at 21 points. So realistically, if I wanted it to just be an X-Wing that I deploy, I would take Zeb, throw a hull upgrade on him as his modification, and then boom, he's at 21 points at pilot skill 3. Already better than a rookie pilot. So starting off with its stat line, we are looking at 4 attack, 0 agility, 10 hull, and 6 shields. It's not really unprecedented anymore for any of these numbers to come up, 0 agility, 4 attack, and then, upwards of 16 hull. But this is kind of the first time that we're getting it all in one place. So the Ghost, or the VCX 100, comes natively with a focus action, target log action, and an evade. And in its upgrade bar, we've got a systems upgrade, a turret upgrade, 2 torpedo slots, and 2 crew slots. And that's going to be a big deal when we get into some of the crew that comes with the Ghost later on. And starting off at pilot skill 3, we have the Lothal Rebel at 35 points. And he is our stock standard. Pilot skill 3, which is nice, kind of like the Wild Space Fringer. But it's great that the cheapo isn't really like an Outer Rim smuggler where we're having huge decreases, because the 3 attack, 0 agility kind of VCX 100 is probably not something that much of us would be interested in. Coming in at 37 points, pilot skill 4, we got Chopper. At the start of the combat phase, each enemy ship you are touching receives 1 stress token. Again, this isn't unprecedented. We've seen effects like this on the Decimator before, but honestly, I haven't played against too many lists that rip me apart by smashing into me. What I could see on this guy, though, is enhanced scopes. Throw him at, pretty sure it's pilot skill 0, could be 1. Throwing him at as low pilot skill as you possibly can, get in and make a big mess of everything, and see what you can do to cause your opponents some issues. This is great if they're flying in formation, but if I saw this across the table, the last thing I would do is fly in a formation. An easy auto-include is going to be the Zeb crew card, which we'll get to in a minute. Okay, pilot skill 5. For 38 points, we have Kanan Jarrus. When an enemy ship at range 1 to 2 is attacking, you may spend a focus token. If you do, the attacker rolls 1 fewer attack die. You could throw 2 recon specialists on there, be pulling in 3 focus tokens, maybe even Lando has a spot in a build like that. But that's going to be pretty useful because you are such a giant target. Now that large ships are kind of handicapped by the half health rule where, your opponent scores half of the points that you have invested in the ship if they get it past its halfway point. You've got to be able to protect them. Moving on to Hera Syndulla. As I said before, same ability as on the attack shuttle. When you reveal a green or red maneuver, you may rotate your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. Still no EPT. And if you've seen the show, Hera's a killer pilot, but, maybe that's kind of a balance thing because if you give her absolutely everything, that's going to be a big mess. Since we've already kind of covered this, I'm just going to leave it be. But at 40 points, being able to go basically anywhere is an outstanding ability. All right, let's talk about the dial. With Hera's ability, I'm more than happy to have a few red maneuvers on this dial. The Ghost comes with a few upgrades. First off, we have Predator, 3 points. We've all seen Predator before. It's great to have another copy of Predator. Thermal detonators, 3 points. Very similar to a seismic charge, except these ones give you a stress token. Counter nets. We've seen counter nets before. Don't run over them, or every kind of bad thing you could possibly imagine is going to happen to you. Reinforced deflectors. This one's pretty cool. This is a systems upgrade. It's 3 points. After you suffer 3 or more damage from an attack, recover 1 shield up to your shield value. That's a great regen ability. And we have 2 copies of Dorsal Turret. 3 points, it's a turret upgrade, 2 dice, and range 1 to 2. Attack 1 ship, even outside of your firing arc. If the target of this attack is at range 1, roll 1 additional attack die. So it's like a regular attack, except you don't get any range 3 shot. Advanced Proton Torpedoes, hopefully we're going to be seeing more of this card, because this is very interesting. It's super expensive, but being able to throw 5 dice and likely have all of them become hits is pretty cool. You just need to be at range 1. Okay, and now we have the Chopper crew card. So Chopper, 0 points. You may perform actions even when stressed. After you perform an action, suffer 1 damage. That may or may not be useful. If I'm trying to run away with a bunch of points on my VCX 100, say we've got 5 minutes left on the clock, throw in 4 straight, and then have engine upgrade on there, take a boost, just to keep this guy around a little bit longer. Ezra Bridger. When attacking, if you are stressed, you may change one of your focus results to a crit result. It's pretty helpful because you have a 1 in 4 chance of rolling a focus, and it really is making being stressed not the end of the world. Hera Syndulla. 1 point. You can reveal and execute red maneuvers while you are stressed. For only 1 point, that's a great ability, and it's nice that they're finally doing something to negate all these horrible tactician and stress bot builds that lock you down and make the game not fun. The only crime here is, what I'd really love to do is take the attack shuttle with Hera, the Hera crew card, and then the Hera VCX 100. It's pretty smart to split them all up. Okay, next we have Kanan Jarrus. Once per round, after a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 executes a white maneuver, you may remove 1 stress token from that ship. It's pretty cool. Gives more anti-stress stuff. Sabine Wren, 2 points, crew card. Your upgrade bar gains the bomb icon. Once per round before a friendly bomb token is removed, choose 1 enemy at range 1 of the token. That ship suffers 1 damage. Kind of makes bombs a little bit more ouch. Okay, and I was talking about this with Chopper a little bit, but Zeb Aurelios, Rebel only, crew card, 1 point. Enemy ships inside your firing arc that you are touching are not considered to be touching when either you or they activate during the combat phase. Basically what this means is if you're touching someone, then both of you get to shoot at each other. Again, Zeb is kind of a thug, warrior ways, kind of annoying guy. Cluster Mines, we've all seen this one. Another copy of Cluster Mines. All right, that is it for the Ghost. It's an excellent ship. Great way to sink a ton of points into something and have some fun. I'm not sure how competitive these are going to be yet, but this is going to be a way for people to have a lot more fun when they play the game. You know, there are competitive builds, and then there are really fun builds. And it seems like this pack is all about combos, anti-stress, and pulling off stuff that you weren't able to do. Things that kind of break the rules. Namely Hera, you know, being able to change your maneuver so drastically from, say, a 1 hard to a 4K turn, or a 5K turn, rather. There are just plenty of options, and there's not any wrong way to do a Ghost, you know? I think the first thing that I'm going to try it with is Chewbacca. Give it a couple extra hull. We're looking at 18 hit points at that point. So I haven't gotten to bring it to the table yet, but my first choice is going to be Hera in the VCX 100, Ezra Bridger in the attack shuttle, and I am going to dock the attack shuttle with the 2 titles. Kind of get a feel for what that's like, see if it's actually tournament viable, unlike the Nash Tip Up. I'm going to throw Chewbacca on the VCX 100, and I'm going to try Chopper with Hera. See if having that many hull points makes it a little bit less painful to take another action for 1 damage. And I think it'd be nice to throw some advanced proton torpedoes on the Ghost as well, and see if that scares the beans out of people when they try to follow me. Alright, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more X-Wing content, and don't forget to fly casual.